Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, there is a sport called Tag Rugby. It's all the fun and palaver of real rugby, but there's no physicality, there's no hard tackling. Instead, the players wear like a little belt with these two tags that hang off it, and the opposing players have to pull on the tags, and that acts instead of the full contact tackles that you get. It's played predominantly amongst children and women. And it's a safer form. There's less physicality, there's less room for injury, and of course head injuries especially being of a concern. And so you have this sport. Now there is a particular team that is an all-women team, but the man who runs it, because of course it's a man who runs it, has said that in order to be inclusive, trans women, he says, trans women are women, and therefore he's allowing men to play against women. Now, of course, trans women aren't women. They are men with a mental condition. They're men who like to put on woman face. They're men who like to wear ladies' clothes. But they're still men. They've still got the physicality of men. And although the sport itself does not have hard tackles, it is still a fairly physical sport. And so it is unfair at even the sporting level. But in the terms of the danger to injury, that injury risk is raised. And so therefore there's these women saying, no, we don't want this. This is a female only team. And he's saying, well, tough if you don't like it. Tough because these, trans women are women. Well, he may be about to have his mind changed for him. And we'll see why when we get in it. And what made me laugh when I saw this story is just yesterday, I said exactly this. And what do you know? So we'll have a look. So, Tag Rugby Group at centre of trans row after wholeheartedly encouraging male-born players, or as we like to call them, men, to join female-only sessions, with the boss insisting that trans women are women, whereas we know they are in fact men. Exclusive, a Tag Rugby Group has defended moves to include trans women. Well, not the group, the leader of the group. However, and this is where he's going to have his mind changed. The decision was labelled exclusionary by some Muslim campaigners. Now, I said yesterday, all it takes for this, because yesterday it was a group, it wasn't sport, but it was a group in there and changing rooms and things. So all it takes is a couple of Muslim women to complain, and let me tell you that these local authorities will bend the knee. They will not allow this because they are shit scared of one group. Not going to say the name, not going to say what they are. I don't need to say. Let's just say there is one section of society whom they're all completely shit scared of. Well, this guy is going to have an education. Tag Rugby bosses have been accused of discriminating against female Muslim players after saying they wholeheartedly encourage men to play in female-only practice sessions, despite some people objecting to the concept of grounds of their religion. Tag Sport CIC, who have not had a trans attendee before, say trans people would be welcome to join, despite there also being groups for mixed genders and men. In other words, for men. The group were blasted after a woman from a Muslim background. When you say a woman from a Muslim background, you mean a Muslim woman? I mean, come on. Complained, saying that she would not be comfortable being in a group with people of the opposite biological sex. Well, and I'm not going to just say this because she's a woman. I wouldn't be happy with my wife, who's not a Muslim, being in a group like that with members of the opposite sex. If she's going to go and take up a sport, that she doesn't as it happened, but if she would, and it was an all-female sport, I would expect it to be an all-female sport. Partially, simply the fairness of it, you're not getting the strength or whatever. And secondly, the risk. Anyway, last year, Rugby Football, the RFU, and Rugby Football League, RFL, both blocked transgender people from competing in women's rugby. Although Tag Sports CIC is not affiliated with either. But so there you are. So actually it's World Rugby as well. Nowhere in rugby now can men play against women. Even men who call themselves Susan. They're just not allowed. But because this is outside of the auspices, then they're allowing it, and it's quite wrong. Barrister Lucy Massoud, 45, argued that being inclusive to trans women, they were excluding underrepresented groups like her own. And there he is. Now, there he is, right? He's the guy, of course, because it's always a man. He looks a bit soy, doesn't he? He looks a bit up his own, vagina. And he's saying that it's right. And now, here's I don't know. Let me just check. Is explaining there? Bum, bum, bum. I'm just making sure. Yes, so that's the actual letter, but they've got the parts of the letter below. So I don't want to read it. I don't want to read it twice. But he had said something absolutely. Now I'm going to suggest what he said is no different than saying, "Well, they don't like it in this country. They can piss off back to their own." That's the equivalency of what he's saying. He is being incredibly. I'm going to suggest breaking the law, but we'll come to it. Bigoted, certainly, but we'll have a look at it. In responding to her, Ben Shanahan Sanders, the programme lead for Tag Sports CIC, argued, Tag Sports is an organisation that has been set up to increase underrepresented groups taking part in Tag Rugby. Though we have never had anyone from the trans community join one of our courses, we would wholeheartedly encourage a man to do so and gladly welcome them. He said, we create safe spaces that enable our participants to learn without fear or judgment, and pride ourselves on increasing opportunities and attempting to remove barriers facing people from accessing sports and exercise. You're not stopping any man from joining a tag rugby team. If he wants to go and join a tag rugby team, let him. Just a man's team. In the following email, and this is that one above, which Mr. Masood posted online, he added that a person's sex and gender are separate things. Fine. Then judge your sport by sex. You are admitting that sex and gender are different things. So if a man who's male, sex, wants to play against women, you have to say no because his sex is male. Your words, you knob. Anyway, he continued. We encourage all women, no matter their religion, ethnicity or sexuality. Trans women are women, he says. That's like saying men are women, and they're not. That is their gender. Gender, maybe, not sex. And so they would be welcome at our sessions. Responding to her questions about her religious background, ready for this one, honestly. He said, should somebody's religion prevent them from attending the sessions due to the highly unlikely event that the other attendee may be a trans woman, that would be very disappointing. But this is certainly not us prioritising one underrepresented group over another. I think very much case of yes, it is. He says, we are open to all women joining our session and always will be. Well, a man who joins isn't an all woman, is he? He says, if their opinions or beliefs prevent them from doing so, then that is outside our control. Oh, it most certainly isn't. And I'm going to tell you what's going on in a minute. He added that he would never expect a Muslim woman to be alone with a man at any point, and that the sport hoped that they would see more female players from that faith in future. He continued, I completely understand that this topic is seen by some as contentious, but our stance is clear and we will not be changing our mind on it. Sport is for everyone. Sport, yes. Having a man compete against a woman is not sport. But we will come back to what he said. And that is that he's saying that basically we don't want to lose you, but if you feel that you can't be here because of your religion, then you can't play. That's not our problem. I'm afraid it very much is. 2010 Equality Act puts religion down as a protected characteristic. And if you are bringing someone in who you willingly know will mean that that woman cannot join, then you are not within the act. And so, yes, it is your problem. You idiot. Anyway, after Mr. Masood, my apologies, Miss Masood, posted the exchange on social media, she received support from several high-profile female sport stars, including Martina Navratilova and former British Olympic silver medalist swimmer Sharon Davis, who warned, I think we should be able to make room for mixed-sex tag rugby, providing that is how it is advertised. After all concerned know, there may be males on the opposition. With any luck, that means no collisions, although all my kids played rugby at a high level and even tag had impacts accidentally. And that's the problem. You are going to get accidental impacts. Now, if it's a woman against a man, who do you think is going to come off worse? Now, if it's advertised as mixed, male and female, and you go, whatever it is, half and half of each team, going in. But if it's advertised as female, you don't expect to see a man in that team. Meanwhile, 9-time Wimbledon champion Martina Navratilova, a prominent campaigner in women's sports, reposted the exchange saying, The group have also been slammed by women's rights campaigners who accused them of limiting the ability of people who are born female to play sport. I don't like the term born female, you just mean women. Director of Sport for Fair Play Women, Fiona Macarena, I don't know, it's Macarena I think, said, what we're seeing here is the so-called inclusion ends up being exclusive to women. And that's the problem, that Tag Rugby has decided, in effect, that they don't have a female-only game. They don't have female-only sessions, and he's essentially said he doesn't care. They've got men's and they've got mixed, and now they've made that female-only mixed. And some women will have to self-exclude. We've seen this in other sports as well, and it's a big concern. Because even though there might not be a safety issue, and even though this is not a competition, how can women train and get into competition if the training sessions are not single sex? Now, he is clearly going to be in a lot of trouble because he's actually breaking the law. But also, he's going up against that group. You know, the group you don't go up against. And it is going to be a bit of a problem. Someone else said, why does he think that a male who says he's a woman should be welcome at a woman-only session when that person has two other options? They have mixed and they have the men's game, whereas a Muslim woman has no alternative. There are lots of women... there are lots of reasons, I think, why women might want a female-only session and they don't have to explain themselves. It's completely reasonable expectation. And for some reason, Tag Rugby have decided it's more important to let men who think they're women to join in with the women, and that leaves certain women with no option at all to play Tag Rugby, and that is not inclusive. I know, and so I'm hoping that he gets a visit from some senior Muslim chaps who explain to him the position and explain to him why it is not right to allow men to compete with or against women on a field of sport because of the dangers and because of the religious convictions. But mainly for my brain, I don't care too much about the religion, but in my mind it's the dangers to women. And it's reassuring to see that that he's going to lose this one. Certainly, he's actually in breach of the law. So, well done to her. And she's a solicitor. I hope she's busy as we speak, writing the case and applying and taking him to court. Be lovely to see. Anyway, I shall round up and come up. So there you are. The backlash is happening all over in just about every single sport. And this guy thinks that he's going to get away with it because he doesn't have a ruling body. I don't think he needs a ruling body. I just think he might end up with a beaten one, though. And so I think his mind will be changed. And I think all of a sudden, Tag Rugby will be lady-only, mixed teams, and men only. And if, these Pretendy Susans want to have a game on their own, that's fine. Have a whole Pretendy Susan league. It's fine. But you can't let men play with or against women at any sport that's physical. It's dangerous. And I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see here on the channel, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, ladies, as soon as you see a man turn up on a field of sport, pick your bag up and go home. Let him stand there, all alone. He can call himself the winner. Bye.